Hi, so welcome to another reading vlog. I'm on my lunch break because now I just take lunch breaks at home. Remote working is weird. I'm not sure how long it's going to take me to get used to it. I suspect it's going to take me a little while, but I kind of like it. Maybe. It's weird. Anyway, let's talk about the books I'm reading. The main thing that I'm focusing on this week is Oathbringer. I still don't think I'll finish it this week. It's really hard to find time to read when you have to work. And I feel like by the time I have time to read, it's the end of the day and I'm really tired and I can't get through more than a chapter. So, I'm reading this, but it's slow, but I kind of just want to sit down and read it because I am enjoying it. Life. Anyway, I'm going to be continuing this. If you don't know, this is the third book in the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. It's a very popular series. It's got crazy magic systems, big, epic, world-altering events. It's a really hard book to talk about, but I really love it. So I want to focus this week on this one. I do also have Ascender, which I think I'm going to read this week as well, just so that I can finish something, because I don't think I'm going to finish Oathbringer. This is a continuation on from my favorite graphic novel series. It's kind of started out as a war between humans and robots, but now we've got magic as well. So I'll finish that. Audiobook wise, I'm currently listening to the audiobook of The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Haruki Murakami. So I was reading this last week. Basically, this guy has quit his job so that he can figure out what he wants to do, and he's discovering that maybe he doesn't know his wife as well as he thought he did, and his cat has gone missing, and as part of trying to find his cat, he ended up talking to a bunch of really strange people, and some very strange things happened. It's very strange. And now, finally, I always knew this was going to happen because it's in the synopsis, his wife has gone missing, and things are still very strange around that. I'm about 30% through that, so I'm going to try and finish it this week because I really need to. I have so many audiobooks out from the library, and if I'm not careful, I'll run out of time to listen to them all and they'll all return themselves to the library. There's probably some I can renew, but some I don't think I can. Anyway, I'll work that out. My lunch break is coming to an end, so I better get back to work, but welcome to the reading vlog. Let's see what happens for the rest of this week. So, time for another lunch break update. I'm trying really hard to keep away from my laptop during my lunch break so that I feel like I'm actually having a break from work. It's really hard because so much of what I do in terms of personal stuff is on my laptop. Anyway, I do have books, I do have housework, so I'm doing those things and just staring into space. Always good. Let's update you on reading. So I read the first chapter of Ascender, and I was worried that when I went back into this that I would have forgotten a lot of what happened in volume 1, but just after that first chapter, I'm already so emotionally invested in everything that's going on. I just love these characters so much, and I just really hope everyone's gonna be okay. I don't think everyone's gonna be okay. Anyway, I don't know why I only read one chapter. I kind of feel like I want to spread it out, but then I'm reading 3 things at once, and is that a good idea? Probably not. So also last night in Oathbringer, it's so heavy, but I made it up to part 2. You can't really see that. Part 2. So some exciting things happened. And now all our characters are a bit more together again. Not all the characters, but the main ones. And I'm really excited to see what's going to happen next. I still am not really that far through. Maybe a third. I'm probably a quarter of the way through. So, I will keep trying to find more time to read this. I should probably be reading on my lunch break, but I'm always worried about doing anything that's too focused because I worry that I will just forget that I'm supposed to go back to work at the end of my lunch break. Anyway, maybe. I could set some alarms, I guess. The other thing I've been reading is The Wind-Up Bird Chronicles by Haruki Murakami. And since yesterday, I haven't got that much further. I think I'm about 40% through. But reality and dreams stopped being so distinct from each other. And then our main character did a thing. And I just keep asking, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? Why would you do that? But in the context of the story, it does make sense. And it does link in some of the weird war stories that this other guy was telling us. But And I'm only 40% through, so how much weirder is it gonna get? A lot, I think. So I am trying to listen to that as much as I can, so that hopefully I can get through it, because I've still got quite a lot to listen to as far as that goes. I think I've still got about 16 hours to listen to of that, so it's quite a lot. Anyway, I better go and enjoy what's left of my lunch break. Maybe I can read another chapter of Ascender. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. So, it is Saturday night and I am super tired and I don't know why. Probably just working and other things, I guess. Anyway, I thought I'd better check in with you guys about reading. So, firstly, I finished off Ascender and I loved it, although that last chapter there were some deaths that I'm not very happy about. But then, on the very last page, we got a return of my favorite robot, Driller. So it was a bit of a roller coaster. I was so upset about the deaths, and then Driller was back and I love him, so I was happy, and so many emotions in this story, and it's so cool. I just really love it. And sometimes I think like the art style isn't to my taste, but then there'll be certain pages where I think it's amazing, so I do think it probably fits the story really well. And I hope we don't have to wait too long for another volume. As well, I've been reading Oathbringer. I'm up to page 411, so I passed page 400, which means I'm about a third of the way through. Also, just got some information that really made me want to go back and reread the beginning of Way of Kings, because I feel like I would have a really different perspective of that stuff now. So I'll definitely go back and read that at some point. But for now, I'm gonna probably after this go and have a bath and see how much more of this I can get through before I fall asleep. Maybe not that much. I'm also nowhere near as far through the Wind Up Bird Chronicles as I would like to be, so I'm 50% through. I really wanted to finish this week, but I'm just not finding audiobook time at the moment, and I'm like not getting anywhere near the steps that I want lately either, because I don't know how to fit any of this stuff into my normal working life, but I will work it out, I guess. But as far as the Wind Up Bird Chronicle goes, it's so weird. It had me considering whether I want to go and sit at the bottom of a well and just think about life. The main character says something at some point about getting away from reality in order to think about reality properly. And I don't know. Anyway, it's super weird and I don't know where we're going, but I'm liking it. But I feel like as it gets weirder and weirder, it gets harder and harder to talk about. But I do think what I was saying last week is that I thought it was about the difficulties in knowing someone and the difficulties in knowing whether you know someone. And I think that is a pretty strong theme throughout it, which I'm finding really interesting amongst all the weirdness. Yeah, it's super weird. Anyway, I will try and listen to as much of this weekend as well. Although tomorrow is Sunday, I'm going to try and be super productive so that I can get things done so that I don't have to do them during the work week. Will that work? Probably not, but we'll try anyway. So I guess I better wrap up this reading vlog because it's Monday now. This seems to have been quite a short reading vlog. I think I don't know how to vlog and work. I don't actually know if I've ever done regular vlogging and working, because I think I started this regular vlogging thing after I finished my last job. So I will have to work on that. But let's just summarize the reading of the week. So I read Ascender and I absolutely loved it. I love this series so much. If you like sci-fi graphic novels, then you should definitely read this one. I honestly don't know why you wouldn't. Also, as far as Oathbringer goes, I don't even know. Did I read some more? I'm on page 476. What was happening? Oh, there's quite a bit of Bridge 4 stuff. So Bridge 4 is like this one part of the army. You know what? There's no point going into details because if you haven't read the series, it won't mean anything. But there's this group of people who were slaves who are now in a very different position, and we're supposed to love them, and I find them kind of boring, and I just want to get on with the other characters. But I guess we'll see how much Bridge 4 is in it and whether they can convince me to love them. I will be continuing this book for quite a while, I think. I don't even know if I'll be able to finish it this month, but I'll do my best. What I did also manage to finish is the Wind Up Bird Chronicle. I feel like, even though I finished it yesterday, I feel like I need to really still think about that ending a lot, and I almost feel like I need to go back and reread the whole thing, because now that I know what was going on in the end, like, I'd like to see how that makes everything else fit in. Also, I really want to shout out the audiobook narrator. I'm going to look up his name. Rupert Dagus. He did such an amazing job. There were two characters. One was Mei Kasahara, who is this crazy neighbor girl, and the other one is Oshikawa, who is this weird assistant guy. And I don't know if I'd been reading this physically whether I would have read them in the same way that this narrator did, but the way he did it was amazing. And especially you think about Mei Kasahara is a teenage girl, and he did it so well. There is a part near the end where Mei Kasahara is just writing these letters to our main character, and I was honestly cracking up laughing, like actual lol. It was hilarious. I don't know if everyone would find it funny, and I do think that this book has a lot of trigger warnings, like there is torture, people getting their skin peeled off. There's, like, if you're afraid of claustrophobia, then that probably wouldn't be great. There's abortion, war, I mean, I guess murder. There's lots of awful things in this book, and I've probably forgotten half of them now because I was more focused on the weirdness of it all, and like, I'm not too sensitive to a lot of these things, but I think if you are sensitive, you'd want to be careful with this book. But I just thought it was so weird and so funny, and I loved it. And I also feel like I could think for a long time about what it was having to say about knowing other people and knowing yourself and like having a direction in life. I can definitely see why a lot of people like Haruki Murakami, and I will definitely be reading more of his stuff as well. So that's all I read this week. 3 books, 1 audiobook, 1 and a bit, although it's a graphic novel, sort of 1 physical book. Anyway, I think that my pace that I should be expecting going forward is 1 physical book and 1 audiobook, which is kind of a problem given the number of audiobooks I have out from the library, but I guess that was a long audiobook though. I can probably get through 2 normal sized audiobooks, although I have some long audiobooks on my list too. Never mind, we'll see how it works out. Thank you for hanging out with me this week. Do let me know if you've read any of these books that I've read or books that I'm still reading. If you've read them, let me know what you think about them, because I would love to talk with you more about them down in the comments. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.